Good evening, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of the Fixture List for 2022. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas with your family and your friends. As you can see, Robbo Ranks isn't here at the moment. I think he's probably still celebrating that 2-2 draw against Chelsea. Lucky for some. But I have gone and we are pushing through with two of the big hitters in the game. It is Daddy Ernie and Mr. Rodney Hines. How are you both?
I'm very well. Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes, Happy New Year to everybody, especially Rodney, who's just come back from 4 weeks, or was it for how many weeks, Rod?
Oh, I lost count. I just did it all.
Well, I lost count at 6 weeks.
No, it wasn't 6 weeks.
On his yacht in the Caribbean.
No, it wasn't on the yacht.
Took him tours of Barbados and St. Lucia and Dominica and all these places.
Yeah. Good to be back.
Yes, you know that. And you know something? You know that it's the fixture list, right? But me and Rodney have a little thing about Lewis Hamilton. I want to just mention.
I'll take up the whole hour with this if you go there.
No, we're not going to take up the whole hour, but I think we need to interject it into the fixture list. But before we go there, remember, we want you to share and also like. So we want you to share on Facebook and like our YouTube channel because we want to get them numbers up. You know what I mean? We want to get them right up there. So just click on the YouTube, share the Facebook channel, and let's get it up there. This is 2022. We're taking control of our narrative. We don't want to hear about nobody else's narrative. We're taking control of our narrative. And the only way we're going to do that, we've got to share and share and share and like and get the numbers up. You know what I mean? You know?
Agreed. Yep, absolutely.
So, I mean, it was the greatest robbery in history, wasn't it, Rod?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just remember watching that race.
On your yacht.
Tuned out a little bit. Lewis, because don't forget, I can't remember. Lewis wasn't on pole for that, was he? He was second on the grid. Do you remember? And
wasn't he on pole?
No, he wasn't on pole. I think Verstappen took it. I think the Saturday night or whatever. But I remember the start of the race. Lewis went up on the inside, and do you remember there was they came together a bit, didn't they? Verstappen,
a little bit, yeah.
And there was talk that they were going to take. Lewis had to give the place back and all that nonsense. Do you remember?
Yeah.
So I tuned in and out of that, and then I knew it was like Lewis was 15 seconds ahead. To tell you the truth, I tuned into another channel just to check something else. And then I saw the safety car came out, and then I knew there was going to be a problem. I didn't expect it to be the problem that we obviously all saw. And I don't know what Crystal thinks, but I think that Ronnie Biggs and Jesse James haven't got away with such big robberies in the past historically. Do you know what I mean? It was just an absolute madness. And I must say, for a man that does talking about sport for a living, I looked at the TV screen and I couldn't speak. And if there was a cartoon bubble coming out of my head, it would have been something that included a few asterisks. And it was really a case of, am I really seeing what I'm seeing? And I remember turning it off and storming out. I couldn't do any more than that.
Yeah, it was shambolic to say the least. And I think that next year, Lewis should not even let it be anywhere near debatable. I think he should just drive off, and if he's 40 points ahead by the halfway stage, so be it. Because anything that's close, it's quite obvious now that they don't want him to get the record above Schumacher, and he will get that record eventually. So let's get it done, and then say bye-bye, and he can sail off and live in his palatial home, whether it's in Monaco or in Grenada.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't even want to blame Verstappen for what happened in that final race.
No, not really, but he should really say,
I want to blame race control really, because if we heard the messaging, it was, oh, we're not going to let the cars overtake, then we're going to let them overtake, and then you had the scenario for me that Verstappen was on fresh tires, incidentally. Lewis wasn't in a position when the safety car came out to change his tires. So when you then say at race control that you're going to make it a one-lap shootout, there's only going to be one winner.
Yes,
that man on the fresh tires. But anyway,
definitely.
Anyway, it's great.
It's outrageous. Drop your comments in the bottom of the page. Let us know what you're thinking. It's bank holiday. We ain't got to go work tomorrow. So let us know what you're thinking, and let us know where you're hooking us up from, so we can just big up the peeps them, big up the mans them on the ends. You know what I mean? You know?
Just adding to what the both of you said, that race in particular, tuning in from social media, it just kind of reminds me of something that's just scripted. Not saying that it is scripted, but it just reminds me of WWE, like wrestling. It just all seems like it's just like, how can this happen? Like, it just reminds me of a soap opera that's just leaving you on a cliffhanger, but it's a cliffhanger that nobody wants. So that's that. From an outsider looking in, that's the impression that I was getting. Like, this can't be real. This just seems scripted.
I mean, there's genuine talk. I don't know how true it is, but there's talk within the Mercedes camp that Lewis mentally is finding it difficult to cope with what happened, because I mean, he was 15 seconds ahead. You know, what's the chances of being 15 seconds ahead and then a safety car comes out? And then obviously we could all hear the messages. So Lukaku, I love it. Let's talk about that Lukaku thing as well. But just to wrap it up, Verstappen was always going to be world champion. Let's not get it right. He's a great driver and a good car.
No, he wasn't. No, Rod, he wasn't going to be world champion. Let
me finish. When I say he was going to be world champion after Lewis's reign, that's what I meant. Sorry. Whether I didn't anticipate the Red Bull car to be as good this season as obviously it was. All credit to him. He accumulated the points, but to lose it in that fashion, I don't know. It could have a profound effect on Lewis, but I hope to see him back. He should now be statistically the greatest driver of all time. And even with 7, which doesn't make him statistically because of Schumacher's 7, for me, still the greatest of all time. Anyway, that's me.
Yeah, he's the greatest. There's no ifs or buts about that. Big up going to our Crystal, who had a magnificent interview with no other than John Barnes, MBE, and it is absolutely blazing on social media.
Yeah.
It's amazing what the women can get men to do, Rodney.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, you are talking about a seasoned journalist, and I'm talking about Crystal Davis now. I mean, with all due respect, she's not a new girl on the block. You know, a seasoned, respected journalist, has lots of big names within her portfolio in terms of interviews. So it doesn't come as a surprise to me, if anything, because, you know, I'll always push her. I just want to see more of it. And I think it's fantastic that Crystal can be interviewing an icon of the game like that. I mean, I think sometimes what we do within the media and other outlets is just pigeonhole people. Oh, Crystal should be just talking to a female footballer or a female or a netballer. No, as good as anybody else out there. So yeah, well done. I want to see more of it.
Yeah,
thank you. You definitely will. I accept your challenge, so you'll definitely see more of it.
You ain't got no choice, Crystal.
No, yeah, it's great, and obviously it's an honor having both of you in my corner, and Robert as well. Definitely couldn't have gotten where I am without each of your individual support, especially Rodney. Like, sometimes I sit and I wonder, like, how on earth, why did you even take a chance on me so young, fresh out of uni? And one of the first conversation is, you know, do you like sports? You like football? And I was like, yeah. And the next thing he said was, "Do you
Mm.
want to come and work for me at the Voice newspaper?"
Mm.
And I will never ever forget that conversation. We was at an award show, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been the Best of Africa
Yeah.
football awards.
Mm.
And that conversation would live with me till the end of time. So thank you for taking a chance on me.
No, it's not really. I didn't really take a chance on you, Crystal. I think that thanks for those kind words. I think that people like Ernie and myself have been around the block a little bit.
Speak for
Um,
yourself, Heinz.
you know, I know that Ernie, for example, was instrumental in, say, Nadine White's career. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And what we do as senior people is just get a feeling about someone. Yeah, get a feeling about someone, and then the most important thing, once you've had that feeling, you've got to provide opportunity.
Mm,
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
I must ask Crystal though. Crystal, what do you think? I mean, taking the females' hat off here, what do you think of the explosion of female presenters like, well, not like yourselves, but like my girl who is fronting
Alex
the
Scott?
Alex Scott, the Alex Scotts of this world, and people of this ilk. Because sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I tune in on some networks and I hear all these women broadcasting from the grounds and leading from the studios, and I think, no man, you got to hold a netball corner, man.
Oh
It's
dear.
it's
Oh dear.
interesting.
What you say, right?
I said, oh dear. That's what I said.
It's interesting because I think I've had this conversation with Rodney when I first came into the industry. When I was at uni, it was something that I second guessed because obviously there wasn't that representation, there wasn't that authentic representation on screen, and seeing is believing. So when I was studying my sports journalism degree, I was like, how can I say I want to be a sports reporter when there's nobody on TV that looked or sounded like me? And
Mm,
luckily I was able to come across the first presenter that I came across was Samantha Johnson. And that was like a blessing in disguise. Obviously, we have the same roots. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm certain that Samantha Johnson's roots is coincidentally Jamaican. So that was just like a perfect match, like a match made in heaven. And she was my guess you could say like part-time tutor at uni. Now and again I will send her work and then she would read over it and then send it back to me, just trying to like polish me up a bit whilst I go through my degree. So I definitely think it's important to have accurate representation, authentic representation on screen, be it football, netball, basketball, because what we have to remember is that the women's game is growing now
yeah.
finally. And half a century ago, arguably, the women's game would have been going toe to toe with the men's game had they not interfered and put a cap on women playing football and stifled the growth of the development of women's football. So I definitely think that it's refreshing and it's great to see authentic women from various backgrounds, especially the Black Caribbean and Black African background on screen, because you need that added bit of push to say, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Mm.
And yeah, the netball one is quite interesting because that's a popular sport. Again, through the Voice newspaper, I was blessed with covering my first netball match, and it was England versus Jamaica some weeks ago at the London Lions home court in Stratford. And that was quite shocking to see because the turnout for that was just like mind blowing. I didn't realize so many people follow netball. But if your passion is netball, if your passion is football or cricket, then pursue it. I don't think anyone, particularly women, should be boxed in to be like, because you're a woman, you should solely focus on female sport. I don't even think there is such thing as female sport no more, because when I went to watch England versus Jamaica the other day, I came to realize that Jamaica have a male netball team. And I was like, whoa, there's a male netball team. So I don't really think you can just like generalize a sport and attach that to like one's gender, so to speak.
No, we're not generalizing it, but I mean, there's something about when you hear a male person commentating on a football match as
Mm.
opposed to a female presenter, there's just something that just doesn't add up. You know what I mean? The passion, as much as the females try, the passion that the men generate I noticed Rodney's staying worldwide at this still, but anyway.
I think the passion can be there, but if you use someone like, you have two black female presenters who are on air as frequently as they can be, that being Alex Scott and Eniola Aloco. And with
Yeah.
the both of them, they're not there to make up numbers. They're not just there to like fill the seat of being female presenters. They're as good as any of the male presenters or male pundits. And one of the reasons why they're so good is because they do their homework and they take their job very serious. There's a few male presenters and male pundits who can't walk in the shoe of Eniola Aloco or Alex Scott because they're not good enough. And also, they don't take their jobs as serious as your Alex Scott or your Eniola Aloco. And the reason why Alex and Eni is like that is because they know that chances are you only get one chance because of who you are, your background, and so on. And there will be people that's looking on and saying that, it might not sit right with them, or it might sound a little bit strange. But if you listen carefully to what the likes of Alex Scott and Eni is saying, 9 out of 10 times they are very accurate, even more so than their male counterparts. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we'll leave that right there with your opinion. You know what I mean? Because we've all got our opinion. I mean, Rodney, what's your take on it, Rod?
My take is, as I said, going back as a
Hello?
man of yeah.
Hello?
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can
Yeah,
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take?
My view is this. It's fantastic to see. Obviously, there's a percentage of people that are not used to seeing that, Ernie included. But it's funny, being on the other side of the pond not too recently, and you say maybe tune into, say, American TV like CBS or ABC, right?
Yes.
That is the norm.
Yes.
Black women presenting hard news, sport, the weather. We'll just have to get used to it, and quite rightly so.
Rod, what I'm saying is that probably because we know America, right?
Yeah.
Give or take what we think about America, but what is allowed for the black community in America is completely different to here in the UK. So you've got the standard there, but I just think that they haven't quite mastered the way that they sound on screen. It just don't sound right. I mean, I don't know about you, but Janet Davis coming from Bolton with oh yes, and I think that he should have caged in the corner, and oh yes, it's Rodney Hines. Right, Rodney Hines just scored a goal. I think
I just think it's a case of getting used to it, Ern, if I'm honest. And I think in X amount of time it will just be standard.
Well, maybe I'm old school.
Well, you're obviously old school and you've got your opinion on it, but I think that for me, when I go into the press boxes, as I do, and I've been there with Crystal, I've been there without Crystal, Crystal's been there without me, it's still just a very small slice of a much bigger cake. So while we're talking about it the way we're talking about it, still a lot more has to be done. Do you know what I mean? Maybe in a different world at a different time, maybe this on this show later on down the line, Crystal and I can talk about experiences within the press box and why things can be good, the bad, or the ugly. I call it a spaghetti western sometimes being in the press box. Do you know what I mean? Depending on which press box you is. I'll bring a smile, hopefully a smile to Crystal's face when I say that I know, because I sent her first visit to a football press box was at Sellers Park. Okay. And I would say that this show, when we go into deeper subjects about racism and a lack of diversity, we need to talk about Crystal's first ever experience in a press box at Crystal Palace, Premier League club, right? Right. Yeah. We won't do it for now, but it's an important thing that we need to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, from what you're saying, that sounds very important because Crystal Palace is in the heartland of the black community in South London, and it suggests to me that there was some sort of argy-bargy.
They're not used to seeing black journalists. They're not used to seeing black journalists, and they're certainly not used to seeing female black journalists. And as I said, I think I was in Birmingham when I said to Crystal, "Call me after you've been and tell me what it was like." I was on the phone for an hour, and I was concerned, worried, etc., etc. And as I said, we'll share this in a show at some stage, I'm sure. But I also knew it was the making of Crystal.
Mm, 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 mm,
You got to go through that stuff. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
And I know
mhm,
I'm being a little bit vague, but it's not a conversation for now. But it's an
mhm,
experience, and I know that what the Fixture List does, we take very serious subjects depending on what the show is, and we
mm,
share them. And I think we should share press box accreditation experiences, which people like myself and Crystal can share.
mm. Definitely.
Definitely.
So that's something we're going to be
Yeah,
looking
something in the future. Yeah,
to,
definitely.
in the future. Once again, remember, share and share and share.
Mm.
And the likes button is very important, that you squeeze off the like button on social media and get those figures up there, because we want to be up there with the big boys, because we're saying as it is, we're not going around, we're not going around the thing, right? We're not going around. we're, we're saying as it is, you know what I mean? So what about Lukaku now? Because Lukaku looked like the bolt, some sort of screws loose in there, and he's not happy.
Rodney, and sorry to like interject
Yeah.
so swiftly, Rodney touched on something, and I think it kind of links this next conversation together beautifully. When Rodney said, you know, when you look across the pond to America and all the representation that you see on screen, and I think because we know that the likes of Paul Pogba and Lukaku, they've been quite outspoken in terms of how they feel about their club situation in the past, Lukaku being the most recent one. And they kind of strike me as two individuals who have adapted the American mentality, the American athlete mentality, in the sense of speaking so open, speaking so honest, and not expecting repercussions. And I think what they have to understand is you work in the UK where it's very old fashioned. I think maybe in a decade's time, you might look back at Lukaku and look back at Pogba and say that they were game changers, like your Danny Rose, who changed the narrative around players being authentic and speaking their truths. But I think at the moment, they definitely need better advisors to tell them, you know, there is a time and place, and be careful of what you're saying, because, you know, when they do come for you, and we know who they are, they will come for you. And sometimes it's almost like you make it too easy for them. Because now, for the rest of the season, anything that Lukaku does that doesn't live up to one's expectation, they're going to, you know, paint him out to be the bad guy. So I definitely think that they've adapted, again, the American athlete mentality. Nothing wrong with that, but they have to remind themselves that you work and you operate in an old-fashioned country where they like things to be done their way or their way. And that's my take from the both of them.
I think you really summed it up beautifully there. I mean, you listen to the Lukaku situation, you think he'd killed somebody. Okay. I agree. In a team sport, I don't think it's useful when you have to go into a changing room with your other 24, 25, 12, 11 men, whatever. I don't think it's useful, but he didn't kill anybody. He's 20. I found out today that Romelu Lukaku is 29 years of age. Now, that in football terms, that's a big man, right? And what I would say is this, and Crystal touched on it beautifully and eloquently. The British game, the British psyche, the British mentality, whatever you want to talk, is so unused to a sports person talking up. Never mind a black sports person talking up. Okay. He was very eloquent. He didn't cuss anybody. He didn't say he wanted to leave Chelsea. Okay.
No.
And as I said, let's give it bottom line. If you're in a team sport, when you go and face your colleagues in the changing room at Cobham tomorrow, it ain't great. Okay. But he said what he needed to say. But you would think now someone's going to put him in the tower, the dungeon at the Tower of London. He expressed his view. And we are so used to footballers just going onto the field, training and playing, and no, don't speak up, don't give a view on the vaccine, don't give a view on Black Lives Matter. And Crystal's point is really apt. It's a mountain out of a molehill. Not useful to the team and to the squad, but is it a dictatorship at Chelsea? Is it a dictatorship? Nah. Chelsea should be more concerned about winning football matches in order to catch Manchester City. And with or without Romelu Lukaku, they're not going to catch Man City anyway. He's an investment. And you know, if you were talking about maybe the biggest businessman in the Premier League, it is Mr. Abramovich. Okay. He's spent 100 million or something close on Lukaku. The manager will need to find a way to fit him into the club. It's as simple as that. But it's a mountain out of a molehill as far as I'm concerned. Not useful. He had his reasons, but you know, the days when maybe when I started my career, excuse me, of we used to laugh because a sportsman's giving his view and he doesn't sound very eloquent, and let's take the Mickey. Almost that Frank Bruno mentality, right? No, he can give a view. He can sit in front of a camera. Yeah. My only wish, and Crystal will relate to this, especially with the John Barnes interview. My wish is that they talk to more black journalists about those issues because
100%.
we will relate to them straight away. Do you
Yeah.
understand? I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a scenario, and I won't name names at the moment because it hasn't quite come through. Well, you'll probably work it out based on my clues. I want to talk to a black football manager in the Premier League. Okay. And I've got to talk to a white person about that.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now I know if I pick the phone up to said manager,
Hmm.
he'll talk to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yes.
there's this protocols, and you know, I know, for example, in other instances, I will want an interview with someone, and I'll be told you can only have 5 minutes. You can only have 5 minutes, and
Mhm.
yet the man from the Mail or the Sun will get half an hour, 20
Yeah.
minutes, and guess what? He don't look like me. So what I'm trying to say is, the likes of Romello, he can talk to whoever he wants to, but I think it will happen. I think the situation has got to be talk to a few more people that look like you, Rom, because we wouldn't treat your story in that
Mm-hmm.
way. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? There'd be
Yeah.
more empathy, but that's my
Yeah.
view on it.
Yeah. That's true.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's
So,
true.
do you think that he's going to see out the rest of the season there, Rod, or is there
Yeah.
any inclination that he could be moving back to Inter Milan?
I think he said what he said about Inter Milan because he wanted to pacify them. He didn't leave them in the best of terms. Don't forget, this is his second time at Chelsea, you know.
Mhm.
And what
Mhm.
Chelsea have now, and I know he hasn't played a lot, is Lukaku at his peak or nearing his peak. They should try and get the best out of him, you know, because
Mhm.
I've seen him in recent times. And when Romelu Lukaku is on it, not many better. I just think that if you look at his career, he's got quite a few clubs on his CV
Yeah, yeah.
without, if you like, I mean, he's been at arguably two of the biggest clubs, well, Inter, Manchester United.
He's been
Yeah.
Now,
Everton.
now, if you check it, Man United fans will generally say, nah, it was a bit of a flop, didn't really do it. Maybe because the club generally was going through a bit of a malaise. But if you
Mhm.
check his stats for Man United,
Mhm.
they work. They stack up nicely in terms of
Mhm.
goals and games.
Yeah.
I just think when a black man speaks out, it's a problem for everybody. Do
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It's a problem.
Mhm.
But people can
Mhm.
kill us and do all sorts to us, and we're supposed to accept it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we speak our mind, always a problem. Well, I tell you what, based on what we talked about women's football, let's just get used. The society needs to get used to black people speaking up, and
Yeah.
not just politicians. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Remember, drop your comments on the bottom of the screen. Let us know what you're feeling, how you're thinking. It's New Year's Day. We want to go into 2022 in style and fashion. I know normally we're on a Friday, but today we thought it's important that we do something. So we're doing something this evening. If you're watching, let us know you're watching, where you're watching from. Press the likes buttons. Rare. I don't know if you saw the the Crystal
Mm.
Davis interview with John Barnes, but it was very significant that John says he wants to come back as the manager of the Reggae Boys. What are you feeling?
That one caught me by surprise because that was not the angle I was going into the interview with. My main angle was I was trying to get him to somehow think over the possibility of um, running for future president of the Jamaica Football Federation, and he kind of just brushed that to the side like completely and said actually he wouldn't mind being the manager again. And I was like, huh? I was stunned by that because again I didn't even have that down as a question, which is a little bit silly of me in hindsight. So
Mhm.
I was like quite surprised about that. And then what really surprised me even more was like people's reaction. Like if you go on my YouTube channel and scroll through the comments, a lot of people, most people I should say, I haven't seen one bad comment there in regards to John Barnes. People saying that, you know, they wouldn't mind him returning and how he was treated was unfair and people saying, he should have been given the chance to go to the Gold Cup and so on. So it was pleasantly surprising to see that he has his compatriots on side. And
Mhm.
like I said, no one there bashing him or saying, they don't like him or whatever. How he's viewed in our community, the Black Caribbean community, is different to how outsiders would view him, especially in regards to his political views. In the interview, he also said that he's not interested in politics at all. And he's touched on a few conversations recently, even when he touched on classism and colorism. Obviously, he's speaking on behalf of being a Jamaican born black man, referring to his class, referring to colorism. And unless you're from the Caribbean, what he says in regards to said subject just goes over your head. People
Mm.
just assume that he's talking nonsense. But if you can put yourself in his shoes, or if you can relate to what he's saying, he actually hits the nail on the head. So yeah, with regards to him coming back as the Reggae Boys manager, who knows? But so far, from my measurement, the Reggae Boys fans are on board with that idea.
What do you think, Rod? Do you think, Rod, that Barnsley would be a good fit for the Reggae Boys now? Because they're a bit, let's be honest, they're not going to qualify for the World Cup. They're in a
Mm.
kind of a little shambolic
I mean,
kind
I'll
of
go
stage.
backwards to go forwards, and I think, as I said at the stop of the show, I think great that when you talk about the greatest, the best footballers from our community to grace the game, John Barnes will be in the top 4 or 5. Okay, simply because when you look at that great Liverpool team that he played in, if you ask the other players, the Aldridges, the Beardsleys, the McMahons, who was the best player in the team, they say John Barnes. Okay, so if you're a great individual and the other individuals are saying that you're the best of the team, it's great.
Mm.
What I would say is this about John: I've had the pleasure and privilege of interviewing him countless times and having conversations with him. John Barnes is a very intelligent man. When
Definitely.
I sit down and he gives me his time, I'm in awe, because we can talk football, we can talk about life, we can talk about society. Okay, he's a very, very learned man, and if you know his family background, that's probably why as well. He's been in England as well, and he's learned stuff. And I know the view of John sometimes isn't great with some people, but I won't have a bad word said, because I can only treat him as he's treated me, and that's always
Yeah,
been perfect, right?
yeah.
And what I would say is this: I think John, and I remember talking to him when he was head of coach of Jamaica, before and after, and I think there's some regrets. I think a John Barnes now, with life experience, personal experience, football experience, right, would be better off second time round. And I know there's this old adage about never going back, but I think I think and I think we've said this over the piece. Jamaican football is at a really pivotal stage right now.
Hmm.
There's this influx of the Mikel Antonios, the Andre Gray, yeah, all these British-based players, and I liken it, if we can get it right, to when the West Indies were great cricket-wise. The
Mm.
West Indies were great because there was this talent and there was this ability, but we were great as West Indies team because, if you like, they came to England and England was a bit of a finishing school. Yeah. So if you play in the Premier League, you play in the Championship, you play in League One, you're learning maybe a more professional setup and stance than you would in Jamaica. Now,
Mhm.
I think if you can fuse that ability, and clearly that's coming out of Jamaica, and you can fuse it with those Jamaican heritage players that are playing over here, you've got talent there. But it needs somebody to fuse it, and that fuse isn't just the coach. I think it has to go right to the highest level of the JFF. So I think that Jamaica's in a really good state. I just think that John possibly could be that missing link. Would the JFF want to take another chance on him? I'm not sure. Sadly, African and Caribbean football is sometimes shrouded in politics. But I suppose it's no different to politics of the FA or the German Bundesliga. But he looks like and sounds like a natural fit. Whether he gets his chance again, I'm not sure. But I just think Jamaican football, and as I said, I mentioned Mikel Antonio. What a successful start he's had to his international career. He's
Mm.
scoring goal, and that's another thing. I think those British-based players can help lift the level, and I think Mikel Antonio has proved that really nice and early. So why not push on with it? I just think Jamaican football needs to get out of a rut. But the talent's there. It's just about now strategy, and that strategy will be about getting a coach in that can fuse it all together. And I tell you what, if Jamaica can get anywhere close to that World Cup team squad and that success, wow, football gets exciting again.
All right, well, we'll keep our eye on the
Yeah.
Jamaica football team. We hope to get Winston Clark in the next couple of weeks to give us his lowdown on what's going on. You know, I was speaking to someone during the week and they said, why isn't the Reggae Boys here playing some friendly games? People would go and watch them. You know, a game between Ghana and you know, the Reggae Boys is always going to generate X amount of passion within the both community camps, you know. Why isn't this happening? So maybe it's a question we can put to Winston Clark within the next couple of weeks to find out what's going on.
I won't say I can give a semi-answer to that, but those games are just based on clear windows in the very busy football calendar, and obviously money as well. So Winston, who's got his finger on the pulse, to say the very least, with that, will give us an update on that. But we're talking about Jamaica. We've got to give a shout out to all the participants as well for the African Cup of Nations that's starting on the 9th.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can tell you now on Sky Sports and on the BBC as well, so we can watch what's going on now. And I think that Righty and Patrick Vieira have hit the nail right on the head in recent times. The tournament needs more respect.
Yeah.
You know,
do you think, Rod, that the players coming out and saying, here what happened? We're playing for our country, you know, we know business about I know the Premiership plays their wages and all them things, but we're playing for our country. It's the African Nations Cup. Sadio Mane wants to play. What's his name? The next Liverpool youth there, when him? Mo Salah wants to play, you know, and all these players wants to play. If they come out as one and say, here what, we're playing in the African Nations Cup, do you think that would be a very significant move? Well,
I don't think they need to say it, you know, because they're going to do it. That's the bottom line. And they are going to do it. I mean, for example, I'll tell you what, when I came back, I saw a very quick Patrick Vieira interview. And because of Patrick's heritage, he gets it. And he said the tournament needs respect. And I'm more than happy for my players. And if anybody's going to be affected more so than most, it's going to be Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? Yes. And he said, no problem. Now, this is a club that, with all due respect, wants to keep its best players because, you know, where they are in the league. But Patrick, born in Senegal, World Cup winner with France, said, listen, no problem. My players are going. That's what we need. And that also tells me that's why we need more diversity in the management chair. Because then you don't get all that nonsense. You don't get all that nonsense about, oh, God, we're going to miss our players. I didn't hear anybody complaining when the Euros was taking place. Yeah? And the Euros were held over for a year. I'm not going to hear anybody complain about the World Cup being played this year. When the Premier League starts, it's going to get interrupted. We're going to have a World Cup, and then the Premier League continues. No one's complaining about those calendars. So this is what I'm saying. Black chairman, black chief executives, male or female, black managers. We need that diversity within the industry so that we get a little bit more of a level playing field. I listened to some of the comments about AFCON, and it's like an ailment. You know, it's like an ailment, and that's not right. But we need more black journalists as well.
Well, it starts on the. When's it start? It starts
on the 9th of this month in Cameroon, and as I said, I'm really grateful. No, grateful is the wrong word. I'm really pleased that we can watch it on Sky and some selected matches on the BBC as well, rather than being tucked away on ITV10.
You know that.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I like the way Wrighty come out still and said what he said, but I think he could have gone a little bit more. Wrighty really, sometimes he's just on the edge. He doesn't want to upset the apple cart too much. And
got bills to pay, bro.
Yeah. But Lineker's got bills to pay, and Lineker says what he wants to say.
Lineker's pay and Wrighty's pay ain't even in the same match. Trust me.
Yeah, I know that, but sometimes a man have to put out his foot.
Lineker's a multi-millionaire based on Match of the Day. Never mind his football income. Trust me.
Yeah. We know that, but still, I'd
Yeah.
like to see Wrighty just come out a little bit more. And we've got to say condolences to Wrighty as well, because he buried his mum over the
Yeah, I
festive
heard that
period.
while I was away. I think he was going on
Yes,
air, wasn't he? And just 5 minutes beforehand, he got that shout.
yes.
The
And the
most
funeral was
terrible
in the
news. Yeah, the
yes,
most
the
terrible news.
funeral was in the last couple of days as well.
Mm,
And it'd
mm.
be great if we could get Wrighty on here as well. You know what I mean?
Well,
We've
it's the start of the year. Let's make our resolutions and see what we can happen.
and see what can happen. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Well, I think where are we now? Yeah, I think Robbo looks like he's still up the Fulham Palace Road. I don't think he's going to get here in time.
He's probably drowning his sorrows. They went 2-0 up, didn't they? And got
Yes,
2-2.
yes, and was pegged back. But it looked. I mean, you at the game, Rod?
No, I didn't make it.
You didn't make it.
No.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, without doubt. It was a great game.
Uh-huh.
Arguably, I mean, I tell you, we've had two really good games this weekend. Arsenal Man City yesterday was a fantastic game, no matter what the result for Arsenal fans. And today was on that level again, probably at a higher level, because obviously Chelsea and Liverpool are at a higher level than say Arsenal are. But Liverpool took the lead. Mane really fortunate to stay on the field of play. Errant arm into the face of Aspilicueta. I don't know. VAR didn't even look at it. From what I can recall. But yeah, all credit. Salah scored a worldie again to make it 2-0, and then Chelsea showed some kahunas. They came back, and it was a case of 2-2, and I think it was about honours even with that. But I think advantage City, because I mean I think. I don't see our City are going to lose maybe 4 games between now and the end of the season. And with their sort of positive goal difference as well, if it's, I know Liverpool still got a game in hand, but I'd rather have points than games in hands, really.
Yeah, definitely. A few teams that I think could be in a little bit of problem down at the bottom there. Norwich has gone. I think we could say that. What say you, Crystal?
I think Norwich I think I've said this before. Norwich reminds me of Swansea, when Swansea, post Mitru, and I believe Dyer as well, they became like that yo-yo team. And you just knew that the drop was just inevitable. And unfortunately for Norwich, they have a habit of getting relegated and then coming back up. But that just says that something's not quite right there. Almost as if they fail to plan. Because, it's not as if they're not used to the life in the Premier League, because they've been up before. So they know what to expect in the Premier League. But when they come up, they're not their usual selves. And it's not a case of people saying, oh, because they play in Championship, and Championship football is different to the Premier League. They're used to this type of environment. So they should be performing much, much better. But unfortunately, things aren't going their way. Whether or not Dean Smith can stabilize things remains to be seen. But maybe you're right that they've already put their nail in their coffin and they're going back down. And before I continue, I have to bring through the big man himself, Mr. Liverpool, Mr. Robert Ranks. He's joining us.
Am I really?
I
should be in a pool of
Who's that?
tears.
Happy New Year to you, my brother.
Who's that? Where come from?
Hold on, let's take away the word happy based on today's result and just say New Year.
Yeah. Where's he come from? I thought he was up the Fulham Palace Road with his mate.
I was trying to be like Rodney, man, with my microphone. I was trying to get an interview with Lukaku. I was saying, Cax, talk to me.
Lukaku won't be giving any interviews for a little while. Trust me. He won't be.
Well, he wasn't. Well, I suppose he was missing, but he wasn't missing because they managed to score those 2 goals. And I was in the stadium. I was pretty stunned when those 2 goals went in. But the Kovacic goal, bro, what can you say?
Something special, wasn't it?
That was
something special. And he's a player not noted for that sort of finish, but
he's got it in him.
He's got it in him, but it was a special, and I think that ignited the stadium, didn't it, Rob? And then they just pushed on from there.
The goal before ignited the stadium, and I've seen Liverpool do this at West Ham, and I've seen Liverpool do this at Brentford. When the fans are up, man, this title that we had, the mentality monsters, is slowly ebbed out of the team now. And I think it's a mental problem, because they're the same players that were being pinned against it in big games and turning out the wins. and then all of a sudden, one bad season where we took that, those runner games where we took that slapping, that steely resistance that we had, it's gone. And look, if you had watched the game, you'd have seen Henderson was on the pitch and Milner was on the pitch, and they
Not going to work.
typified
Not
what
going to work.
that whole steeliness about Liverpool. But even
But-
with them on the pitch, it just wasn't there.
Two things I'd say, Robbo, having watched the game myself, I'd say one, what another worldie by Salah. I mean, only special players can do that week in, week out. But what I would also say, you talk about mentality monsters. I think that Liverpool, and I think today, Kante and Kovacic dominated your midfield.
Yes, definitely.
And
100%.
normally it's the other way round. And I don't think you have that control of games the way that you're used to. For a Liverpool game, it's just too open.
Yeah, it's very open. I tell you what, I watched Kante from a bird's eye view. Man.
Yeah.
That
He's 5'2",
brother
isn't he?
is
At best.
unreal. And obviously you watch it on telly and you get this 10, 780 perspective of a game.
Yeah.
Man, you watch this guy cover every blade of grass.
Yeah.
And he's going
Was
for
that
foot
before
race.
he should have got sent off, Robbo, or after?
Pardon?
Was that before he got sent off? He should have got sent off. So
Kante?
yeah. No, Mane.
Mane.
Oh, come on, Robbo.
Listen, I only saw the highlights from the Mane tackle at half time. Where I was, I didn't hear any Chelsea fan go crazy over the tackle. It looked like a fair, jump for the ball, like two players going for the ball. You wouldn't have heard it in the crowd. So it was only when it was played at half time you could see that it was a bad tackle.
TV highlights that stuff. It wasn't a tackle, Robo. It was a face. It was an arm in Azpilicueta's face.
And it was the side I was on. I couldn't see it.
You were that side.
No, well, you wouldn't see it because you're Liverpool supporters. How are you going to see it?
No, but I'm not blinkered like you, Ernie. I'm not as blinkered as you.
I
tell you what, when you watch
blinkered.
those guys, Chelsea, I'll tell you one thing I thought about them. My son was watching. He goes, Dad, they're not as physical as they should be. And it was kind of telling in the first half. And that's why Liverpool went in so hard on them. Mane was going in hard. Milner was playing hard. Van Dijk was giving, oh my God, he was giving their, the German guy. Havertz. He was like, get away. They were really physical on Chelsea, but Chelsea managed to get the crowd on their side and turned it around. But yeah, it was a physical game, but you couldn't hear it or actually see it in the crowd. The crowd weren't going crazy over the tackle. So yeah, the TV highlights are something else, man.
Even if we go back, I mean, Sugar Strange should have got sent off the other day for that tackle.
But he's England captain. He can't get sent off.
Against Liverpool.
Was it against Liverpool?
Yeah. I was at that game. He should have gone. Yeah, but you got to understand, you don't send off the England captain.
No. It's football. The England captain, I don't care who he is.
What I'm trying to say to you
is, if it's Maguire, he should go.
He deserved a red card, right? He deserved a red card. But what I'm trying to say to you, no VAR is going to tell the referee to go and look at the screen and send off Harry Kane.
So what's the point of having VAR then?
Well, you could say that yesterday in the Arsenal Man City game. What's the point? You're going to look at one. You're going to look at one incident and not look at the other. Yeah. Strange.
I'm looking at all these incidents.
So guys, have you guys been talking about the Mane's challenge? Should VAR pick that up and done something?
Yes.
But what happens is whether you got VAR or just the referees as we knew it 2 seasons ago, it looks to me like officials are reluctant to make decisions in the first 5 minutes of any game. They're bottling it. They just let it go. Because it sets the standard for whatever you then do with your cards or discipline after that. But not being funny, if you've got VAR, I'm almost certain if the VAR had said in the Mane incident on Azpilicueta, go to the monitor, he would have sent him off.
Yeah.
Well, I can say this. When you're in the ground, I'm like Arsene Wenger. I don't see nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't see nothing wrong. Azpilicueta puts it in. He puts in those challenges, and so does Mane. It looked fair to me. I didn't see anything, and I'm pretty sure there was a lot more off the ball incidents in that game, especially regarding Liverpool's players and Chelsea players, because Ibu and VVD was giving them hell. I don't know how much you picked it. I was watching because I wanted to watch Van Dijk. He's a monster, isn't he?
He is
Jesus,
a monster.
the size of the man on that pitch.
And he's a very calm monster as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think England captain or not, if it all a bench.
I agree with you.
Early shower. You know what I mean? Yeah. And as for Slabhead at United, it just goes from one catastrophe to the other. I mean, Aaron Lennon run past him like he never existed the other day. And we're talking the England captain here. You know what I mean? Aaron Lennon
I saw him
past him like him a fool.
I saw him against was it the game against Newcastle that you drew 1-1?
Yeah.
It was appalling. It was appalling.
Terrible. How he can be England, let alone Manchester United captain? There's got to come a time where people say is enough, and it's reached that time now.
You say that he actually plays quite well when he plays for England compared to his Man United performance.
That's debatable, Rod.
But let's talk about Man United. Where are they going this year, Ern? What's happening?
Well, I think we're good enough to get fourth. I said this before. I like the way that Ranić, or whatever Robbo wants to call him, is talking.
Ranić.
Right? Well, I like the way he's talking. I like the way he doesn't seem to be scared to let a man hold a bench when necessary. And I like him. It's going to be interesting to see what he does in this transfer window, if he does anything.
Ernie, I think his time is coming.
Oh, shut up, Robbo.
Difficult games.
Robbo, why do you talk? You say I talk foolishness. Why do you talk foolishness?
I haven't even said a word. I said his time is coming. He's got difficult games. Can I finish? I've only just started, lad. He's got difficult games.
Yeah.
And he's got difficult decisions to make.
Well, he don't look like he's frightened of making them decisions.
I don't know about if we can say he's frightened. He's still getting to know these players. When he's going to have to make those tough decisions, you will see if he's who is with him and who's not with him. Because the toughest decision he's got to make, and I'm not picking on Maguire because I mean you're a Man United, you're a salty Man United fan, but I think Maguire someone should have had a look at Maguire's position at Man United as the captain, wearing the captain's armband long ago. Because he's him as a player and his position and
the whole lot, Robbo. The whole lot.
No, not the whole lot.
You're a Liverpool supporter. I'd rather have you as our centre half. That's how bad it is.
I'm not saying to drop him. I'm just saying he's the captain, and you can clearly see as what one of the comments from, I think it was Gary Neville, saying that you can see there's splits in the camp, and there's splits because I don't think everybody has him high up as a captain material. So I think Ranić's got some strong decisions. So that's what I'm saying. Ernie, his time is coming. He's paying good money. He's been paying good money to be the interim manager of Manchester United, but he's going to have to start making some tough decisions. And those tough decisions they have to be made during these run of games that you have, which are supposed to be easy games.
Yeah.
That's not being biased, Ernie. How about that?
I thoroughly agree. That's the best thing that you've said over the last few weeks, Robert.
But you were saying you're just happy with. I just like the cut of his jib. Everybody talks nice when they've been interviewed for a job. Everybody talks nice to the press when they're not being asked the hard questions. I've not seen anybody, any pundit, pin up. I mean, I'm waiting for Rodney Hines to pin up Ranić. You need a Rodney to go in and pin him up about Man United.
Do you know the interesting thing about Ranić, right? Is that we can't while he's the interim manager, he's actually going to be the director of football when the new manager comes in. I hope you know that. He's going to be part of the fabric of the club for X amount of time. Wow. So it's a very important role. I think that role confirms to me that Man United are a little bit of a mess managerial wise. Because I mean, how many managers do you need? Because whoever comes in will almost have to start again. And Pochettino's the favourite, etc., or Brendan Rodgers. Who would you prefer, Ern?
Ernie, come on.
The Ranić.
No, who would you prefer, Rodgers or Pochettino?
Ranić.
No, Ranić is going to be the director of football. You're going to get a manager.
Answer the question, Ernie.
Who would you prefer, Rodgers at Leicester or Pochettino at PSG?
None of them.
Oh,
That's
God.
not an answer, is it?
It is an answer.
So who do you want then? Who do you want?
Ranić, even if he's going up as director, we could hold a little breeze because I like the way he's talking. I think he should be given a chance. I like the way he talk.
Do you know this sounds like deja vu? You just say, who do you prefer? Ole, give him a chance.
Bring Ole back.
I wanted Ole to have a chance, but at the end of the day, you know, results. It's a results game, and we knew once Watford beat us 4-1, it was all over for Ole, and I accepted that.
What if Ranić takes a walloping in the next few games? What do you think?
Well, he's not going to go anywhere because he's going to be interim manager until the end of the season.
Well, I don't think that Rodgers or
Pochettino.
my boy is the answer. Rodgers or Pochettino's the answer.
I'll tell you what. Let me give you a name that might be controversial, but I think he'll do a good job if you give him time. You ready?
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta.
Man United.
Yeah. I'm only joking. By the way. But the reason I say that, because significantly on this show, we talk about Arsenal when they're flat on their faces, but we don't talk about it. Agreed. But we don't talk about it when the phoenix is beginning to rise from the ashes. Now, all jokes aside, at least, unlike with Ole, I can see that there's something of a plan at Arsenal. I didn't see that under Ole. And Arteta coming for a lot of stick, could have lost his job this time last year. At least you can see little notebook, pencil, and the stuff that he's saying. Crystal, what do you reckon?
I agree with you. It's almost like you read my mind, because I was going to ask you about like the culture at Arsenal and how much credit are you willing to give Arteta, especially with his latest visible disciplinary action towards the current club captain, or maybe captaincy has been stripped off him, but we don't know yet. But I guess I can credit him for trying to change that culture with Arsenal. And I think over the years, over the last decade, even under Arsene Wenger's reign as well, you had too many liberty takers at Arsenal. From the senior players, obviously, if you're a young player and you see the senior players behaving in said ways, then you're going to inherit that, because you're thinking if they can get away with certain things, then surely you can. So I think I'll definitely credit Mikel Arteta for trying to change that toxic culture at Arsenal. And some weeks ago, I was talking to Rubber and Daddy Ernie, and I was saying that's one thing I disliked about Arteta, because he didn't seem to be fair across the board, because we saw how visible, harsh he came down and saw a young player like Matteo Guendouzi doing one thing against Brighton. For me, it was a distasteful comment. In the grand scheme of things, when you look at football, that's the least of a comment that you should be like up in arms about. But if he wants to change that culture, then in hindsight, I understand why he applied so much pressure. But at the time, I had an issue with Mikel Arteta because he came down hard on Guendouzi, but the likes of Willian could go out on holiday and then come back and he's still in the starting 11. So it's nice to see that he's trying to level things out a bit now, and it seems that nobody's safe at Arsenal. Like you put a foot wrong, and you just might have to sit on the bench, or maybe you won't even be in the squad at all. So I'll credit him for trying to change that culture.
Do you know what I think what this weekend has shown me, and I think maybe the wider football world, is that you see the top three in the Premier League right now. Those are the standards. Those are the standard bearers. City, even not at their very best, and wait for it, outplayed for 45, 50 minutes yesterday, still dug it out. That's what champions do. But the standard, Liverpool have been a good, great team for a long time. Champions League, Premier League. Because if you took Man City out of the equation, Liverpool would be kings as far as I'm concerned in this town here, right? Yeah. You know, they press. I mean, I saw Liverpool pressing today. No, we'll come to Man United in a minute.
Go get a coffee. Go get a coffee, bro.
But you know, the best players, the ones that win titles do what Man City and Liverpool players do. They work their socks off. Yeah. They press from the front. The first line of defense, I mean, you talked about Van Dijk and Kanate. That's not you got to get to them first if you can get through Salah, Mane, Jota, and that press. And it's fantastic to see. And I'm not even comparing Arsenal to those teams, but at least, as I said earlier, I can see a little bit of a plan. And that's why I think, not being funny, I don't know what Man United are doing yet. I know Rangnick's only just come in, and he needs time. He really does need time. But when you're at arguably the biggest club in the world, as Ollie's found out and others have found out, you have to undergo that criticism. Because right now, United were the standard bearers. They are no longer that. They have arguably the best player in the world right now in Ronaldo. A fantastic signing. Me and Ern talked about it when he came, but that's not enough. Clearly, that's clearly not enough.
Based on what I saw yesterday, there is definitely it's the plan that you talk about, which Arteta has been in motion from the start, but it was just actually trusting individual players to carry out the plan, and weeding out you know characters like Aubameyang, even though he's the captain at the period that he took Aubameyang out, has been really good for Arsenal going forward. Does Aubameyang get back in that team? Because that could be the difference between Arsenal finishing 6th or actually really. And what I saw yesterday on the evidence, I think Arsenal could blow Man United out the water with that style and brand.
It's a fantastic point you make about Aubameyang, right? And I'm going to go back 2 seasons or so with another captain called Granit Xhaka.
I'm just going to get a drink while you lot debate this.
Yeah, because we're talking football, so you know we don't need United at this stage. Arsenal have managed to rehabilitate Granit Xhaka back into the team. Now, Robbo, you're absolutely right. If you can get Uber back in, there's goals there.
I'm telling you.
It just depends. It's a little bit like the Lukaku thing and Tuchel at Chelsea. You know, who wants to say they've got the biggest kahunas? I don't know. I just think that sadly, Uber's had not the first time that discipline has been, you know, labeled at him, and it's really sad because I like him. He's carried Arsenal for 2 or 3 seasons with his goals. But I think, as Crystal said, I think Arteta's stance is, boy, I got young players performing for me week in, week out. I cannot allow the captain to sully or muddy the waters.
Yeah.
I was only being hypothetical, Top Cat, about taking City out of the equation. I didn't mean it.
I think Top Cat is sitting pretty, man. I mean, what we saw today was the best of the rest, and that is the title of today's show. Guys, drop your comments if you are listening, where you're watching and listening from, and it's always good that you guys put that like button on the YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, a few more of those thumbs would be really, 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 really appreciated. Now, there's a special game tomorrow. Come on, Wolves versus Manchester United. Why I say it's a special game? Because we were talking about these runner.
Can you repeat what you said just now?
I said special. Special. It's a special game. It's at Old Trafford. You've got a run of games. You had your test against Newcastle. Now here comes Wolves. They have probably, if I'm right, Ron, they have one of the best defenses. They're in the top 5 in terms of goals against.
Yeah, but they haven't played for about 2. They haven't played for about 2 weeks, Rob, due to COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I hear your point, but the trend seems to be, from what I've seen, with all the COVID interruptions, if a team doesn't play for a while, you think they're fresh and they should, but they're not into the football rhythm that they would have been if they were playing on a more regular basis. So I don't know what's going to happen. You'd expect Man United to win, but you're right. Wolves have got a good defensive record. They've made the transition from Nuno to this new boy Lager, and they're doing quite well. Just depends what United want to do, really.
Well, they've got to score. Shouts going out to Ronnie Biggs. Listen, I've only just come in and we've got one more game to go, and it's tomorrow. It's Man United. What we can't just do the show and keep talking about Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester City. I know they're the top 3, but we need to talk about the best of the rest.
Robbo, who for you gets that 4th spot as you see it at the moment?
Liverpool.
Right. I think,
Draw.
no, I think by right. I think given the situation we have now, Ranić, steady pair, United, a decent squad, but we don't know what's going to happen with the Europe. The European games could muddy the waters. Arsenal are now a threat. I think Arsenal are a threat for
I
fourth.
think Tottenham are a threat as well, based on the manager.
Well, I
100%.
said that Arsenal. I said
think it's-
Arsenal was a threat from the beginning, even when they were down in second place. The significance because they're not playing midweek.
There you go. So the
But hold
force.
on, not a Tottenham now. Do you understand?
Tottenham's got a good manager.
And that's
Tottenham's
what I'm saying.
got Conte, the head
But
of the mafia.
you got three teams. You got three teams vying for that spot. If Man United don't get their act together and Conte gets Tottenham's act together and Arteta is gelling this team and you know that team reminds me of, without a Suarez, obviously, and this is why I talked about Aubameyang. It reminds me of when Brendan Rodgers had that young team at Liverpool. And we're just getting them to play a certain way, getting past the difficult games, the games that you'd have thought Arsenal would throw these games away, and Rodgers was getting them over the line. I think they could push.
I think what's significant with Arsenal, though, when they've played a big team, they've always got beaten. So it just means that this development there needs to be time for the development. I think Arsenal now are in a position where they can go to a Leeds and win 5-0 and beat up a Norwich 6, whatever. But when you go,
but with all due respect, they're not big teams, though, are they, Rod?
No, I didn't say they were big teams. I was going to finish. I was going to say they've lost at home to Chelsea 2-0. They got battered by Liverpool 4-0 at Anfield. They lost to Man United 3-2 while I was away. Those are the games now that they got to start winning. If not this season, next season, in order to show the level where they're going. But I think, actually, I'm not being funny, I think Arsenal actually ahead of the schedule that I thought they would do. I thought that Man United would be clearly fourth. I thought Tottenham would be sniffing around. And I've got to mention them as still West Ham. The West Ham way.
Yeah.
Forever blowing bubbles.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're still there.
Yeah, they're still there. They're still there.
Well, Ernie, you obviously got a couple of games in hand on most teams, but you're currently seventh. If you take a draw tomorrow,
no, Robert, we have to win tomorrow.
I'm just saying,
we have
if
to
you
win.
get a draw tomorrow,
We have to
you'll still
win.
be seventh.
No, there's no drawing tomorrow. We have to win.
I think
Arsenal's won, Tottenham's won, West Ham has won.
No, Arsenal.
We have to win.
Arsenal didn't win.
I mean, Arsenal. I'll tell you what. I get confused with Arsenal because I didn't even know what they're about. But anyway, I just get visions of Aubameyang and his car up in Muswell Hill all the time.
If you want to know what they're about, just look at the league table at the moment.
All right. So anyway, we won't even go there. Right.
4 points ahead of you. 3 points. 4 points ahead of you. Ernie.
All right. So we need to win because West Ham's won. Who else?
Tottenham won. Yep.
Tottenham won. So we need to win. A draw is not good enough. Right? Now, once again, Bailly has got injured. He's come off injured the other day. I don't know what's happened to him. I think he's a great player, but he's just injury prone.
Not one of your best players at Man United, though.
He's injury prone. He could be. If he got a run in the side, he'd prove, but he just can't get a run in the side because he's always injured. So once again, Slabhead will be taking pole position. I don't know what's happened to Lindelof if he's injured. Or
Is it Lindelof?
All of that stuff. All that stuff.
Sorry, Rodney, the Lindelof situation. Sorry, he came off and he had obviously an issue with his breathing.
Oh yeah.
That could be pretty serious, right?
Yeah, very serious. And bearing in mind what happened to Ericsson at the Euros and Mwamba a good few years ago, we got to keep an eye on those scenarios.
Yeah,
Ernie's listed his defensive woes: Slabhead, Bailly, Lindelof. You know what? As long as Ronaldo remains Ronaldo in terms of class and ability, while Cavani can't play every week, as long as those two are in United's team, you got a chance.
We got a chance.
Yeah, because that's where the real quality is, as far as I'm concerned. Another question I need to ask you: I've talked about Ronaldo, I've talked about Cavani, the development of Greenwood, Martial, Rashford. Man United's young future, has that been hindered by Ronaldo and Cavani?
Well, Martial's going. We've said this from quite a little while now. His attitude is not right. He's too vexed. You know what I mean? When things ain't going right for him, he's vexed. He's looking
Hold
around
on,
the stage and he's feeling sorry for himself.
Is he any more vexed than Ronaldo, who walks off and doesn't clap his fans?
Yeah, but the difference is that Ronaldo will score goals.
So Ronaldo can be vexed as long as he score goals.
As long as he score goals, right? And no
but-
matter what we want to say,
Hey,
Ronaldo is a better
hang on,
player
Ernie,
than what's his
you
name
said
would
it's a
ever
problem
be.
with his. Hang on, but you said it's a problem with his attitude.
Yes.
So if Ronaldo's got a bad attitude, what do you think it's gonna? How do you think it's gonna reflect on the whole dressing room?
Yeah, but the difference is Ronaldo will score goals. My
Yeah, but he's
man's
still
got a bad attitude and he ain't scoring no goals.
Okay, so if you got a player with a
score
bad
goals if he can't
attitude,
get to the team.
don't you think it's gonna have an effect on the dressing room, Ernie?
The what?
Don't you think it still have an effect on the players around him if he has got
Not
a bad attitude?
not as much as Martial. Martial, from he came there, the vexation business when things ain't going right for him, and even when things are going right for him, still look vexed.
No, you know what? No,
It's
I'd
the
like
goal. It's the
let's
goal.
pin you down on this one, Ernie.
It's the goal.
We've worked in places where some people come in
Yeah.
and they may not look happy. Doesn't mean they've got a bad attitude. They may not look happy.
Yeah.
Attitude is what Rodney just pointed out. Ronaldo scores, doesn't score. He walks off. He sulks. He cusses the other players on the pitch in front of live TV. Don't business.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that one's attitude because one doesn't smile and the other one who does what he likes because he can do that because he scores goals?
Ronaldo is a world-class player. When you're a world-class player, you can get away. You can get away with certain things when you're a world-class player.
No, you can't. Not attitude.
But my question
When
remains.
you're a world-class player, you can get away with certain things.
Did you see how he looked? How he, even though it was deservedly so, the way he was tearing off Rashford's head.
Yeah.
Do you think that's good for Rashford?
No, but I don't get what happened. Rashford are my boy, you know. Greenwood is my boy, but at this moment in time, they're not delivering. Rashford needs to get back to playing football.
Okay, but why is Ronaldo? Is it Ronaldo's job to clerk them on a pitch?
Well, I think if anybody's got the authority to do it, because he's been there and done it, Robbo. It's like when you're in a club and you're DJing and you know, say, busy signal supposed to follow Bujo, and they go and play some geezer from down in Trenchtown who no one's never heard of. You say, hold on a minute.
Bang.
And you you say, hold on.
Told you to play cartel. I told you it's cartel segment. No, but I'm just saying, Ernie, because the Marshall thing is being done to death. The guy don't smile, and what? Salah doesn't smile a lot on the pitch. Doesn't mean
No, he doesn't. But he does the job. He does the business.
Yeah,
he does the business. You can afford not to smile if you're doing the business. If you're not doing the business, at least smile. At least. My opinion now with Greenwood, I think Greenwood has got to bide his time. He can't be throwing his toys out of the pram at this stage of his career. He's still got a little bit of things to work on. If Alex was there, he would not be making no noise.
Top Cat reckons that Ronaldo, Keane used to do it to Ronaldo. Ronaldo has earned the right to cuss his players. I am talking about attitude. And if you're going to go to young players and you're going to slaughter young players on the pitch, I'm saying to you, I don't know how that always helps a young player.
Well, it should. It should, because you say, hold on a minute.
It doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, it don't always work that way, but you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, if I was Rashford, I would take on board what Ronaldo's saying, because right now, Rashford, since all this shenanigans and the kids and all this business, no matter what anyone says, he's gone a little bit backwards.
Hey, and another thing, I'll counter that, Top Cat. Roy Keane played in the engine room for Man United, so he put in a shift. Yeah. He was putting in a shift, game in, game out.
Yeah.
When Ronaldo's up top for Man United, given the fact that he scores goals, granted he scores goals, does he look like he's putting in a shift?
Well, in the last couple of games, he's been putting in a shift since Raniak's got there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you can't. You can't have it all your way. You don't put in a shift, but you cuss a player for a misplaced pass. I think that's totally different from a Roy Keane situation, who sat in the engine room for Man United, dictated the play, did the work, did the tackles, did the hard yards. I think you can't just brush off Ronaldo's goal scoring feat and say it's just how it is. If he has a bad attitude and this attitude rubs off, or he uses this bad attitude against young players like Greenwood, Rashford, how do they develop? That's all I'm
They
saying.
would develop, man. Them for develop. Listen. Them for take the message from the wise. You know what I mean?
I hear that
it's
as
like
well.
me and you saying to Silver Star, rare. They take it on board.
Yeah, but it's the way you say it, isn't it?
Yeah, but he never said nothing. Only that he just showed his displeasure. Right now, you should have put
Although
that little
you
ball
used to grab
on the
up Silver
plate.
Star, although you used to grab up Silver Star by the neck round at Choice FM. I remember
Yeah.
those days, Lenny.
Yeah, put him up
Hard
against the wall and say, here what
horrible
happened. Here what happened, you Liverpool supporter. Here what I'm telling you. And he took it on board, Gussie. He's a top man now.
Gussie's like that.
You know what I mean?
What do you reckon, Crystal? Attitude, come on. You're a woman,
seriously,
and
I think
this is a male-dominated
we don't
game.
know, you know.
Hang on, do you think that should be the be all and end all?
I definitely get where you're coming from, and I think maybe Rodney.
Hold on. When you say get where you're coming from, me or Robbo?
Robert, I get where Robert is coming from,
you're
and
biased.
I think
You're
I think Rodney
Crystal,
and Debbie. I think Rodney and Debbie might be able to remember the situation that I'm referring to. And it actually, what Robert said, it reminds me of Aubameyang, and there was an incident with Joe Willock on the pitch. Maybe a season a bit ago, where he was literally just barking at Willock. And in that moment, I did feel sorry for him. Yes, you are the club captain, but I kind of feel there's a time and place. And also, Willock was in that position where at the time, he was probably a Marmite player for a lot of the Arsenal fans, despite coming up through the academy. So to see the club captain is having a go at him on the pitch, I was like, you're kind of making matters a little bit worse for him. Then you have to question, where will this lead his confidence? Will it knock his confidence? Not every player is mentally strong or as mentally stern as you would expect them to be as a professional athlete. And when you're being bashed in front of the fans, that definitely can hinder your confidence. It's a different case if he's doing it in the locker room where there's no cameras and no one knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah, but like Andy Cole, do it in the locker room.
In the locker room. But with Rashford at the moment, Rashford is like that Marmite player for Manchester United as well. And we know he's not number-wise, he's not doing as well as he should be. But at the same time, there is reasons for that, factual reasons. One, the biggest one, Rashford not allowing his body to recover and heal properly. So because of that, he's kind of like his growth and his development has stagnated. And perhaps you could put that on Rashford and say that's your own fault. But there has to be a point where people around him, the natural leaders around him, be it his head coach, manager, assistant, whoever, that makes those important decisions for Rashford and say, although England has given you a call up, you're not going. Southgate as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. I think that there was rumors that before Oli left, that he didn't actually want Ronaldo. This is something going around in the match. He didn't want Ronaldo.
Yes, we've been hearing that. Yeah.
However, what Ronaldo has done for United, in my opinion, is change the way that they play.
Yeah.
Because Ronaldo's not
good or bad, Rodney. Good or bad?
Bad. Well, no, I'm not going to say bad. He's just changed the way they play. Let me explain. Because Ronaldo is not going to press from the front. Okay? He's not going to run the channels. He will score goals. He will take penalties. He'll take free kicks. But when United were going a goal behind away from home or anywhere and coming back, what you had was the Greenwoods, the Martial, all running at pace.
Frightening.
That was my question to Ernie 10 minutes ago. Has United, who have got a plus with Ronaldo, gone back on the development of their younger players, who a season ago were the future of the club and may still well be have they gone backwards? Because the style is different now. Greenwood was smashing it last season. Okay?
Yeah, and you say Greenwood was smashing it.
Oh, come on. He was scoring goals. He was making
all right. So, but I've seen
England call up, bro.
I've seen Greenwood play with Ronaldo, Rashford, and Greenwood this season. And he don't look right.
Who don't look right? Greenwood.
Greenwood. Him
Well,
not look right.
any
When,
player.
when Cavani comes in, I saw Cavani run down the man the other day. I thought he was 21.
Yeah,
But
but
let
he's
me-
running
but-
on a man. He's running on a man in the
And
middle
got
of the
the ball.
park, or
Hold on.
running
You
out to the
cannot
flanks. He's
compare.
not running up
Whoa,
and down.
whoa. You cannot compare Cavani to Greenwood. Cavani is a world-class international player
Veteran.
who knows how to handle his business. I tell you, the only person that Ronaldo won't cuss in that dressing room is Cavani.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Because Cavani's playing on the same level as him.
Because Cavani, exactly. So what I'm trying to say, and I'm asking you the question, what you've gained on the swings, Ronaldo, all that experience,
Yeah.
held up the development of players young black forwards, for the want of a better term,
Yes, yes.
that were looking so good last year.
Come on, Ernie, answer the question.
I think out of those two, Rashford should be making more of a statement than
Rashford
Greenwood.
is not going to make a statement because
Why?
he's gone under the surgeon's knife, and he was also involved in the Euros. Not a great deal, but he was involved.
All right. So
Rashford,
if he can't make the statement, put Greenwood in then.
but Greenwood's not getting a shout.
Well, if you say, right, I think that Rashford should be making a statement. You're saying that he went under the surgeon's knife, ready, blah, 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 blah. Put Greenwood in then.
They're not robots, Ern. They're not robots. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying to you.
Right.
So, Ernie, are you happy with Cavani,
And
Ronaldo up front?
I would play Cavani and Ronaldo up front all day long.
You
So
can't
like
play
a
them all day
4-4
long.
a
Cavani
4-4-2
can't do
then.
it all day long. He can't do it all day long.
No,
How many
Cavani.
games are you going to get out of those two?
If Cavani could, but if Cavani can't play, out of them two, I think it's Cavani who's probably got the less playing time out of the two. I would put in. I would put in Rashford. Rodney tells me that he's under the surgeon's knife. Blah blah blah.
He was under the surgeon's knife. That's why he didn't play after the year. But hold on, you talked about Martial.
No, I'm not Martial fan. I just think he came to United.
No, hold on. You talked about Martial, who scored in his debut for Man United, by the way.
Yes, okay. And it was all looking rosy.
It was, wasn't it?
Hold on. Where does Jesse Lingard fit into this?
What? Jesse Lingard ain't a forward, is he? He plays in the midfield.
No, he doesn't play.
Well, he plays at number 10. He plays at number 10.
He's a forward player.
But hold on. What I'm trying to say, there's a trend. All the young forwards that were seemingly the future of Man United are now on a bit of a pause. And that's what I'm saying.
Lingard never played much when Alex was there, you know. Remember, Lingard's been there a long time, you know, and even Alex never played as much as he's supposed to.
Lingard went to West Ham and scored goals and created assists.
Yeah.
Is he worthy of a chance at your club?
Well, he's not hard to do it at West Ham because the West Ham way suited him. He's probably better at West Ham.
Do you know what? I think what Lingard proved is if you're playing week in and week out and you've got the manager's confidence, you can perform.
Well, Ernie, anyway, what you prefer and what you don't prefer, you're currently you're sitting in the 7th position.
United won't finish
fourth. 3 strikers.
United won't finish 4th.
You don't think we'll finish 4th, bro?
I'll take a little bet with you now. That
but you're only betting a penny.
No. Either of the North London clubs will get there before Man United.
Nah. United's finishing 4th.
Okay, fine.
I have every confidence that Man United will finish 4th.
Where do you get that? Let me ask you.
When the doodle hit the fan, United will finish 4th.
If Dudu was actually operating the fan and the wheel, he's gone now.
Ern, where do you get that confidence from?
I get the confidence from Ranić because I like the way Ranić is talking.
Okay, but you talk about
to me, he don't seem frightened of dropping to a man when it's necessary.
I watch Ranić and I like how he talks. I agree with you, Ernie, but I think he is learning. He is going to learn very quickly.
He'll need time.
Is that the one?
He's going to have to learn very quick because he's going to have to drop players.
And he's not frightened to do that. He's not frightened to do that.
Where have you seen this? Maguire still plays.
I think
Ronaldo's cussing man and walking off the pitch.
But Ronaldo's been dropped. He's dropped Ronaldo.
Who dropped Ronaldo?
Ranić.
Did he?
Yeah,
it was Carrick that dropped Ronaldo.
I think, it was Carrick. I think if Ronaldo can be kept fit, United have got a massive chance. I think he's the jewel of the crown.
Right. Okay.
Nothing else.
A player I do like at Man United, and I think he will make waves if they can find a way of playing him in the team, is Jadon Sancho. And unfortunately for but I was about to say,
there's another one.
I was about to say for Jadon Sancho, if Jadon Sancho and Rashford had some way in that team at the top end on that pitch, boy oh boy, United would be
But the thing about United,
proposition.
Robbo, and you're absolutely right. You could have any combination. You could go Rashford and Martial. You could go Lingard. You could Lingard and Sancho. They're just not being given their chance.
Well, at the end of the day, we can only play 11 players. Can only play 11 players at any given time, right? So, you know, the combinations of Rashford and Ronaldo, or Ronaldo and Sancho, or Cavani, and we can, at the end of the day, we can only play 11 players.
Would you be happy with a cup this season, Ernie? Just like the FA Cup?
I'd be happy with the cup and finishing fourth.
No, FA Cup and not finishing fourth.
No. We have to finish fourth. We have to be in the Champions League.
Crystal, would you be happy with another
we're champion club? Robbo. We're champion club, but very much like Liverpool.
All right, forget that. I'm talking fact. I'm not talking about drivel. So, Crystal, would you be happy with an FA Cup? Arsenal taking a good run. Actually, Arsenal, a good shot, winning the FA Cup like how Leicester took it last year. Would you see that as another step back into another marker for Arteta building and not take fourth?
100%. Oh, I didn't like the way that ended.
No, I'm just saying, if you had the FA Cup or fourth.
But okay, yeah, I can see where you're going. Obviously, I would love to finish fourth. But if you win the FA Cup, then you know that's a direct route straight to the Europa League. And then next season, you put yourself in a two-way position where you have two opportunities to put yourself back in the Champions League via the Premier League or via the Europa League. So I think when you look at it like that, you probably say, yeah, give you the FA Cup and that take you straight into Europa League. Obviously, I don't want to be in Europa League because the fixture is too heavy, but if I had a choice, then yeah, it would make sense to say yeah.
What about you, Rodney?
I don't want to talk out of turn, but Arsenal are not ready for Champions League right now.
No, so
I would take an FA Cup, and significantly, Arteta won the FA Cup in 2020. We must remember that, his first season. I think Arsenal are a cup team more so. I would take the FA Cup every day. We're not ready. Arsenal are not ready for Champions League football. I think if we're talking about their development, and there's no guarantee that Arsenal are going to go on to be XYZ, but based on Arsenal plans and Arteta plans, you'd think they might need another season. Until Arsenal can handle the Liverpools at Anfield, the Chelseas at Stamford Bridge, the Man Cities at Etihad, they're not ready for Champions League. Because if you think about it, all the three clubs I mentioned invariably will be either in the quarterfinals of the Champions League or the semi-finals.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, for me, at this point, after that, the deflation today, I'll be honest with you, second place, third place, and fourth place for Liverpool, I wouldn't. It wouldn't make much of a difference to me. So if Liverpool finished third or fourth, third or fourth, and we had the FA Cup, I'd tell you, I'd take the FA Cup.
I think what you're doing there, Robbo, and I respect what you said there, actually, but it shows once again the standard that Man City have set.
Oh, they've gone.
Because as a Liverpool fan, and you've won everything there is to win in recent times, right? You're almost...
And Man United.
You haven't won the Champions League in recent times.
What do you mean?
We've
won it more than Arsenal.
No. Well,
that wasn't the question.
I said in recent times.
Well, hold on. When did United last win the European Cup?
You tell me.
Crystal, we can ignore this bit of the show.
Right?
You tell me. You're the United fan.
The last time we won it was 20... Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Right. I said...
But it's recent times, though. It's recent times.
Oh, no, stop. Robbo, when did Liverpool win the Champions League? 3 seasons ago?
2 seasons ago?
Right. That's recent times, Ern.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I thought when you say recent times, I thought you meant like in a decade.
Arsenal have no Champions League pedigree apart from a final.
A decade, it can't be. Hey, 10 years can't be recent times, Ernie.
In my book, it's recent
times. What I'm trying to say is, a very, very good Liverpool team who, in recent times, have won the Champions League and the Premier League, have almost, dare I say it, surrendered the Premier League because of the class of Man City. That's the standard. I say to everybody, Arsenal fans, West Ham fans, even Chelsea fans, the standard is City and the standard is Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's the standard. And the rest of us are playing, based on Robbo's question, we're playing for a cup.
Yeah, I think we are. And again, speaking of the other cup, I forgot to say that club is there hanging around the back. The Champions League. Now I look at what Chelsea did last year and I'm like, oh man, we should have had that as well. I would be happy for Liverpool to surrender second
to win the Champions
League.
Any
team who wants it, have it.
Yeah, you take
any team who wants second, it's all yours. So I want Champions League or FA Cup.
You would take fourth. You would take fourth in the league for a Champions League win, wouldn't you?
I'd surrender it.
And that's why I'm saying, that's the point I'm making. City and Liverpool, to some degree, have moved the goalposts. Clubs like Arsenal now, boy, big club around the world, big club in England. I'd take an FA. I'll tell you what would be perfect for me. I would take an FA Cup and a League Cup double as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Do you know, I don't think I want to surrender that League Cup to Arsenal.
Well, we play each other on Thursday and then the following week. But I'm just saying, within the league now, 20 clubs, right? You almost have 6 different leagues. So you have Man City, Liverpool, and you could put Chelsea in there or not. You've then got United, Tottenham, maybe in that order, Arsenal and West Ham. That's almost 3 leagues straight away. Then you've got Wolves. Do you understand? In a 20 club division, there are 4 or 5 different divisions.
Sorry, Debs, I don't think we want to surrender it. I actually want Liverpool to start first team players. Halfway through the match, I was thinking,
you ain't playing first team players.
I was like, maybe we should take off Salah. Mane's off. That's great. Firmino can come off. We can save them for the game against Arsenal. Listen,
I fancy Arsenal to win that over 2 legs.
I fancy Arsenal might beat Liverpool. Just where Arsenal are right now, they're in a really good place. I think Arsenal could really beat Liverpool at the Emirates in the Cup. But I don't think you beat us at Anfield.
I think the standard, once again, that City have set and Liverpool have set shows you now that the Carabao Cup or the League Cup is now important. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying it could be a great final, whether it be a North London derby final, Tottenham, Arsenal. It could be a Chelsea-Liverpool final. So, you take it. Yeah. You take it.
So Aubameyang comes back in your side. You slide him back neatly into the Arsenal first team. He's been a naughty boy. Arteta comes back with his coal and he's sniffing and he says, "You're my man. You're my man. You're my man." And he starts against Liverpool. He could finish us off.
Well, he's gone away with Gabon now, isn't he? So he's missing.
Oh, he's definitely. Actually, I heard he was out there long. I heard he was out there long ago.
He's been out there for 2 months now.
I heard he's been in Cameroon living it up, mate.
No, I think that Arteta's man management now is going to be tested. Do you try and integrate him, or do you just sever ties? Don't forget, he's an asset. He's earning big money.
He can't be sold during the January window because he's not back until the 10th of February, right?
No, I mean, I think he'll be back. And as I said, we'll see what happens.
Can deals be done during the
Yeah.
Mane could go to Real Madrid quite easily.
Keep dreaming, son. You saw the real Sadio play today. You saw the real Sadio play today, bro. You saw the Panther play today.
That's why I said he could quite easily go to Real Madrid into the January window.
He's not going anywhere.
And you still got to sort out the money for what's his name? Mo Salah.
Salah. His name is Salah. A couple of my friends have taken offense to that, Ernie. They tried, that it's a Muslim name, very common in Egypt. So I'm just saying, I'm just passing the message on.
Yeah, well, I don't business about your friend. I'm more Salah me call him. One vex.
Yeah, well, they were vexed, man. So I'm just saying, man. I noticed you got your Rasta man shirt on. When the thing goes off,
No. This is Queen Latifah. This is Queen Latifah. This ain't no Rasta, man. This is the Queen. Now,
Rasta,
Crystal
Rasta, something you have on.
recognized this symbol as she's a worldly woman. She recognized this is Queen Latifah.
I'm gonna have to leave you guys in a minute. I'm sure we've
Yes.
overrun, haven't we? We've done the hour
I'm
and
in
a
the
half.
country.
Yeah,
Can
we
I
have-
say thank you very much to Angela and also to John for facilitating me while I'm up here in Leicester this evening.
You look like you've been kicked out of 4 different rooms during this show, Ernie.
Yeah, but they
You necessarily-
facilitated me.
And you're just taking over the people's house, man. Man's going, yeah, I just want Wi-Fi. Shut up. Want Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi.
I'm
Give
sure
me
that's
some Wi-Fi.
your 4th room of the night that you're in. Trust me.
Don't worry.
So, are you guys back? Are you guys back on the wheel, the hamster wheel, as of tomorrow, or is it the day after?
Day after.
The day after. Yeah, day
I'll be
after.
back on the plantation on the 4th.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I need the answer to that. I need to check my calendar. So that's a good question, but I need to check my calendar.
Well, we're still waiting for you to empty the barrel. That's what we're still waiting to empty the barrel.
I'm still trying to wonder how today is Sunday, because don't feel like Sunday. It feels like
No, it
Saturday.
doesn't.
The last week has felt like Sunday, hasn't it?
Yeah, you know that.
There was a couple days. There was a couple days in the Christmas that felt. I think 3 days felt like Sunday. Sunday, and Sunday.
Sunday.
Yo, but we got it done. Welcome to 2022. We look forward to bigger and better things with the support of everybody. We look forward to bigger and better things in 2022. We're going for it.
Yes, we are definitely going for it. We'll be back here on Friday with another fixture list. And as Ernie alluded, bigger and better and more black coffee for Ernie.
Yeah,
Ernie,
yeah.
there were 1 minute, at 53 minutes last week, brother, you was out for the count. You held it for like this.
Oh,
Ernie
53.
held it like this for about, and I'm
that
thinking,
is what you get when you watch too much of Man United.
No, that's what you get when you drink too much of the amber nectar.
Oh,
Crystal,
right.
you saw it, right?
Mm?
53 minutes in, Ernie was like that. I was like,
Done.
I didn't notice it because I thought because Ernie's got a style where he looks like he's looking on his phone.
Yeah.
But he's like that. He was leaning on the mic.
It's FA Cup weekend, by the way, this weekend,
Is it?
right? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Who's playing in the FA Cup then? Thanks, guys, for the show. Here's another fool. Up the Arsenal. We can talk about Arsenal win on Thursday then. Yeah, all right.
Debbie was supposed to come on the show. What happened?
I think we should get Debbie back on the show on Friday. Debs, you're involved. You're invited on the show. You are an Arsenal fan. And the more we can move these Man United fans off the show, the better. Because it'll be a much better show. It's more interesting. And the conversations actually really make sense. You understand?
Yeah, but
It's
without
red-bluted
Manchester
stuff.
United, there's no show. You know that, Robert. Because you have to have someone to talk about.
What's happened to Lord Nesta? Has he disappeared?
Well, Lord Nesta, I've got the feeling that Lord Nesta only turns up when some big super depend of program, and I'm going to have to talk to him about that because it's not about big super business. It's about us and.
You're trying to say it only comes on when we have stars. Is that what you're trying to? Is that what you're telling the masses?
Lord Nesta does not. You know, Lord Nesta lives in Wanstead, right?
Yeah.
He does not want to talk to us mere. What's that? What's the guy from where the Parliament plebs? He don't want to talk to the plebs.
Okay.
He don't want to talk to the plebs. He wants to talk to the big man.
Don't worry, I'm gonna clip this just for Lord Nelson, Nesta.
Lord Nesta, yeah, man, yeah.
I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him. I know you like to talk to us dudes, but yeah, we'll have Eddie back on the show, and Debs will be on the show. Shout out to Patrick Tappins. I know this Patrick's been quiet. He's not cussed Ernie for a good
Bro,
few
let me
weeks.
tell you, I saw Patrick Tappins right on Facebook in one green suit with a clutch bag to match. It was awful. I didn't even know how he showed his face. It was terrible.
Have you got a clutch bag, Ernie?
No, Rodney has.
You got a clutch bag, Rod?
No.
Yeah, man, he's got one, man. While he was on the yacht, I saw him.
No, I wasn't on the yacht, man.
Is he on the yacht? I'm Rodney.
Nah, that's Ernie.
For
Ernie's
the best part of 4
propaganda.
to 5 weeks, he was cruising around the Caribbean. He made the first stop in Barbados when they became independent or whatever, when they got rid of the Queen, but she's still there. And then he sailed around the Caribbean for a few weeks with his mates.
All right, then. Good night on that. All right.
All right.
Get yourself
Nice
some
one. Eddie, we'll
coffee,
see you
all right?
next week, yeah?
Get yourself some coffee, Ern, because that might be the only cup that you're holding this season.
Yeah, all right, all right.
Just on the note of Chelsea being
One
at
more
Chelsea,
than you.
I tried to get in, Ernie. I tried to get into the Cannaville suite today.
What
And-
happened? Weren't having it.
We're having
Weren't
it. They said,
having it.
you're not on the list, son.
Oh.
Hold on,
So I just
hold on.
left and went to Fulham Broadway Station and had a Costa. That was it. That was
Okay.
it. Listen, guys, we'll be back on Friday. I'm sorry I joined you guys late, but I hope
No
you all
worries.
enjoyed the show.
No
Watch
worries.
back the show. It's on YouTube. Share it with a friend. Tell them that we talk football and all sorts of foolishness, including Daddy Ernie, every Friday night. Crystal, Rodney, Robbo Ranks. It's the Fixture List. I suppose, Crystal, I'm going to leave the button for you. I'm out of the buttons today.
Happy New
Okay,
Year.
let's
You're
line this
button monkey
one up.
today, so
Take
when
care.
you're ready.
Yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we shall see
And
you
you.
again
Take
next
care.
week.
I'm going out to
Friday.
the Leicestershire countryside now with my birthday glass.
All right.
Go
No
line
worries.
the ditch. Go line in the ditch.
All right.
Go line in the ditch.
Man.